I hate saying goodbyes. So as a senior, I'm struggling to move on from the community that matters most to me, all of you. Many think of moving on as a transition, or the process by which we leave one thing behind and approach something new. We can move on as we're promoted from one station to another, or moving away from an old home. As we fall in and out of love, we like to tell ourselves and others that we've moved on. We often explain to children that when people we care about, when they've passed, they've moved on to a better place. But these interpretations don't cut it for me, because they reject the past, refuting its existence by exchanging it for a future alternative. Perhaps moving on is a better description for this mindset, since it entails a total systemic shutdown of everything that came before it. But life doesn't work like that. People, experiences, and values transform us. In becoming part of the fabric of our character, they become a part of us. They also help identify what's familiar, cutting risk and diminishing uncertainty. Yet that very comfort can make it difficult to step forward into the future. And for sentimental people like me, moving on is paradoxically, but inevitably, intertwined with clinging to the past. It's a habit I'd like to break. I spent my childhood in Weston, Connecticut, a town of just 35,000 people. While I eventually attended a multicultural school in New York and returned only on weekends, I loved those visits. I relished the white picket fences, my local diner, the smell of freshly cut grass. It was as if the town from Stranger Things came to life before your eyes, minus the monsters of telepathy. And I was little Mike Wheeler. It had a homogeneity that appealed to me. I was too young to understand that my world could be so much bigger if I learned to diversify my reality. But between the ages of 5 and 13, I cared little about being the third culture son of a Taiwanese mother and an American father. Traveling barely interested me, and for the longest time, I thought that all I wanted was to move to the suburbs, raise a family, and have my own little emerald lawn one day. It was my paradise. When I was 14, my parents announced unexpectedly that we were moving to Taiwan. Instead of spending my first year of high school with friends, it would be immersed in Chinese language and culture. The move changed everything, and I adjusted badly. I had no friends, I couldn't speak the local language, and I didn't eat fish, which is unsurprisingly a huge problem if you live on an island. Most confusingly, everybody talks about global politics and international relations all the time. Failure to read the newspaper meant missing out at the lunch table in school and at the dinner table in other people's homes. It was overwhelming, and for 2 months, I begged my parents to let me go home. I missed my friends, the willow trees, the crisp October winds that rippled on the Saugatuck River. I wasn't just missing my past. I was clinging to it, mourning it, and reliving it. I couldn't move on. Finally, I realized that I had a choice. I could feel sorry for myself and stay miserable, or I could maximize every opportunity that going to an international school had to offer. The moment that I changed my perspective, a new world opened up. I joined my school's international traveling Model UN team, debating students in Jakarta, Kuala Lumpur, and Bangkok. I developed conversational Chinese and made really close Taiwanese friends who are still family today. Our friendships became so close that we co-founded Heart to Heart, an English language immersion summer camp for Aboriginal students from these under-resourced parts of Taiwan, an experience that helped me discover my love of teaching. In short, by the time my year came to an end, I went native. My old life seemed smaller, my former paradise now a prison. Had I continued to live on in those Americana memories, I never would have grown. I still treasure and value those experiences dearly, but I refuse to let my past restrict my future. Mike Wheeler said goodbye to Elle. just as I said goodbye to Weston. As we prepare to move on from Harvard, especially as graduating seniors, the same principles apply. We can treasure our time here, cherish it, and remember it, but not seek to relive it. Getting into Harvard was perhaps the best thing that ever happened to me, but everything I learned here would be wasted if part of me remained. When I arrived in Taiwan, I made a choice to embrace my heritage. When I leave Harvard, as difficult as it may be, I must choose to let it go and to move on. And it doesn't mean that I will treasure this place any less. I'll just be looking forward and not back. As my father told me, every time I complain about a particularly tough day, the consolation to getting older is that we benefit by learning from our mistakes. I won't make the same mistake twice. Moving on is hard, but as my time with you in Pfoho has taught me, we are never alone in that process. Thank you.